Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming and spending time with us today. Rob Bonta, California Attorney General, and I'm really honored and pleased, feel privileged to be here in San Diego with City Attorney Mara Elliott to highlight important strategies to prevent gun violence. And we all know the gun violence epidemic plaguing communities across our nation is sickening and it's unacceptable. We've seen innocent children gunned down in schools. Worshippers shot to death in churches, in mosques, and in synagogues. Loved ones killed as they go about daily life in malls and shopping centers, grocery stores, doing everyday things. There have been over 400 mass shootings so far just this year. More mass shootings this year than there are days in the calendar this year. 110 people are shot and killed every day on average. And this is unacceptable, and we're here to say enough. There appears to be no depths to this pervasive sickness, but I've traveled to San Diego today to highlight the good work that is happening in this city that is helping us turn the tide. California has the nation's leading gun safety laws to keep our families safe. As a result, we have one of the lowest firearm mortality rates in the nation. You are less likely to get shot and killed in California than in Texas, than in Florida, than in nearly every other state in the nation because of our common sense gun laws. Our gun safety laws work. That is not an opinion. The data, the evidence, the facts, they show that. That is a point of factual accuracy. And one of the laws that work very, very well, as proven here time and time again, right here in San Diego, are our red flag laws that temporarily remove firearms from the hands of potentially dangerous individuals. But these laws are not being fully utilized across California. This is, however, not the case here in San Diego. Let me tell you and brag on San Diego for a moment. 32% of all gun violence restraining orders issued statewide were issued in this county. That's right, 32% of all gun restraining orders were issued right here, despite San Diego County being just around 8% of California's total population. Good work is happening here. And I encourage everyone from law enforcement to everyday Californians to take notice. We must work together to make our gun safety and red flag laws, make sure our gun safety and red flag laws are being used to protect our communities, and they're being underutilized. Not in San Diego, but in other parts of the state. So others should take San Diego's lead, be aggressive, use the tool that is there, the tool that can help prevent shootings, including mass shootings. And so with that in mind, I have three messages today. First, I have a message for Californians. Help prevent gun violence and protect those who are no longer able to responsibly possess firearms by seeking a gun violence restraining order, and protect those who are no longer able to responsibly possess firearms by seeking a gun violence restraining order, also in short referred to as a GVRO, or by seeking a domestic violence restraining order, or a DVRO. If you see something as a Californian, you can say something. If you hear something, you can do something. Second, I have a message for all of our law enforcement partners across the state. Help your community do their part by assisting them in accessing these resources. Provide training and assistance to community members to help them better understand red flag laws, a proven model with demonstrated positive results right here in San Diego. Sometimes these tools can be intimidating, they can be confusing, but law enforcement and others can help demystify the tool so that it's being utilized the way it was designed and intended to save lives throughout the state. And third, I have a message for our sheriff's departments throughout California. Apply for funding. Available now through the California Department of Justice's Gun Violence Reduction Program. My office is providing a total of $10 million, including $5 million we have yet to allocate in grants to support county-level law enforcement efforts to seize weapons and ammunition from individuals barred from possession and in the Armed Prohibited Person System, or APS. We enforce APS I have agents that go around the state, knocking on doors, removing guns from the hands of those who are prohibited from having them. We seek and we want the partnership and collaboration and team work of our sheriff's departments. We have money for you, so apply, and we can do this work together and keep people safe and get guns out of the hands of those who should not have them. The application period is nearing. This is for the sheriff's departments. The application period is open now through September 2nd, so just a number of days left. Ending gun violence requires all of us to do our part, and we will continue to do ours at DOJ. We are advocating for common sense gun laws, working to strengthen federal rules and regulations, defending our nation-leading efforts when they are challenged in court, seizing guns from prohibited persons, and holding the peddlers of ghost guns and illegal firearms accountable. Public safety is job number 1, 2, and 3, and we're all in when it comes to ending gun violence. Before I close and hand the microphone to City Attorney Elliott, allow me to use this moment to remind every Californian that anyone who believes a person to be a danger to themselves or others should contact local law enforcement immediately. Family members, employees, co-workers, and school employees can also petition the court directly for a gun violence restraining order to prohibit a person from possessing firearms whom they believe poses a serious threat. And individuals who are in fear of or experiencing abuse by someone with whom they are in a close relationship, such as a current or former spouse, partner, or parent, can request a domestic violence restraining order. A quick note on the gun violence restraining orders. Many times after a high-profile mass shooting or any shooting, people close to the individual, the perpetrator, are interviewed, and they often say they wrote something that suggested they were going to hurt others. They said something to me that I thought was awkward. It was a red flag for me that indicated hostility towards others. Those are red flags that you can act on before the shooting occurs, and you can go into court and potentially stop the next mass shooting from happening, stop the next shooting where an individual loses their life or is hurt or harmed. So we are all part of the solution to addressing America's disease, the epidemic of gun violence, unique only in the world here in the United States. We can and we must do better. There are tools like GVROs and DVROs that will help. So I encourage everyone to use them as they were designed to be used. And again, as I said earlier, if you see something, you can say something. If you hear something, you can do something. So I invite you to be part of the solution, to be active and engaged. You can prevent the next tragedy because when our red flag laws are used, we do save lives. From increased training to public awareness to initiatives to foster increased cooperation between courts and law enforcement, we need to do more statewide to make sure California's life-saving laws are used like they are in San Diego. So thank you to San Diego. Thank you to City Attorney Elliott and her incredible team for showing the way, leading the way, showing what is possible when a tool that's put in their hands is used to its fullest capacity to save lives and protect communities from gun violence. And now, without further ado, I'd like to introduce my friend and an incredible leader in this county and in this state, City Attorney Maura Elliott.
Thank you. Thank you, Attorney General. Thank you for everybody coming out to hear from us today. We always support the coverage. It certainly drives home the points that our Attorney General was just making to you today. The Attorney General's work on gun reform has helped us spread the word about the importance of gun violence restraining orders in our state. Combating gun violence is a never-ending struggle, and we're lucky to have a partner like we have in our Attorney General, who addresses the problem creatively and from all sides. My office is at the forefront of employing this life-saving tool to remove guns when someone is a danger to themselves or to others. Over the past 5 years, we have obtained gun violence restraining orders against more than 900 individuals with firearms or access to firearms. In each case, a court has reviewed the evidence and determined that a dangerous situation existed. More than 50 of those gun violence restraining orders were in response to threats of mass casualty events. In each case, the individual specifically targeted 3 or more victims or threatened to shoot up a specific location. 9 of the threats involved a local school. Other threats were made against hospitals, gyms, banks, bars, and even golf courses. While we will never know how many lives have been saved, study after study shows that gun violence restraining orders save lives. 25 years ago, gun deaths in California were roughly the same as the national average. Through a variety of gun reforms, our state's firearms death rate is now 37% below the national rate. Our actions save lives. Removing guns from domestic violence situations is critical. When guns remain in the home, the homicide risk increases by a staggering 500%. But not everyone who might benefit from a gun violence restraining order knows about it. A UC Davis study has found that only 1 in 3 Californians know about gun violence restraining orders. The study also found overwhelming support when people learn how GVROs work. More than 80% of Californians say they support courts issuing GVROs when a gun threat is identified. Gun owners agree. According to the research, nearly 80% of gun owners support using GVROs to protect against a known threat. Even greater support, up to 95%, comes from people who live with gun owners. Our efforts in support of GVROs have reached far beyond the city limits of San Diego. Recognizing the urgency and effectiveness of GVRO education, our office has trained more than 500 law enforcement agencies since 2018. We are pleased to share our expertise throughout the state of California, just like we've done in San Diego County. Education is key to building successful programs that will ensure that GVROs are used when necessary. The more that people know about GVROs, the more lives they can save. Again, my sincere gratitude to our Attorney General, who has been so supportive of our city, of our efforts, and of the state's gun reform, for coming to San Diego and making this a priority issue. Thank you, Attorney General.